to love to your brothers and sisters that you meet along the way. Every single day now, right now the world is going through a serious situation. Say we don't need no war. All we need is love and affection. There's so much going on, and no one seems to be asking a question. So we don't need no guns. We are the one love generation. Little bit from you, with a little bit from me. We gonna make it out together. And a little strength from you, with a little strength from me. We gonna be so much stronger, yeah. A little bit from you, with a little bit from me. We gonna be so much better. And a little strength from you, with a little strength from me. We gonna be so much stronger, yeah. Say, why can we all unite and stop fight? Orange, purple, black and white. Let's come together and feel alright. So why can we all unite and stop fight? Chinese, Syrian, black and white. Let us all come together and feel alright now. Do 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 do. 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 Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Love is the only solution for all the war and illusion. We don't need no pollution. All we need is more love and peace now. Love is the only solution for all the hate and confusion. We don't need no division. All we need is more love and peace now. Why can we all unite and stop fight? Orange, purple, black and white. Let's come together and feel alright now. So why can we all unite and stop fight? Chinese, Indian, black and white. Let us all come together and feel alright now. We are the world. We need to have that one love connection. And if Jah will be done, together we'll fight this holy Armageddon. So please show more love, regardless of the other man's complexion. And let's stay in touch and have more renewed communication. Love is the only solution for all the war and illusion. We don't need no destruction. All we need is more love and peace now. Love is the only solution for all the hate and confusion. We don't need no oppression. All we need is more love and all we need. Can we all unite and stop fight? Orange, purple, black, fusion. We don't need no oppression. All we need is more love. Can we all unite and stop?
Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. I love that song. Why Can't We All Unite by Marley Palmer. I'm telling you, it is that song resonates for us now that we're going through these obstacles and trials and tribulations right now, in our country. So I wanted to play that because I thought that would just resonate well with this event. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Mirror Love, the conversation, surviving 2020. And I tell you, if you're watching this right now, either now or later on, you catch it later. If you're watching it, guess what? You're surviving 2020, okay? I'm telling you, I know we've all been through ups, downs, highs and lows, but I tell you, guess what? We are here. I'm telling you, on November 14th at 2 p.m., we are here. So we have enough to be grateful for, just that alone. So many people and loved ones of ours did not make it. And so, and our hearts go out, especially during this time of the holiday seasons. But I'm telling you, if you are here, you are watching this, you are here on November 14th, and you are surviving 2020. All right, so let's get to this wonderful conversation. So today I have some awesome speakers for you all. So I'm telling you, I hope you're listening. I hope you're paying attention. We're gonna have also an opportunity where you can do, we will do a few question and answer. So please put your questions in the comments, and we're gonna go and look for them. So please, and leave us something that if you guys we're talking about anything, you guys, something's resonating with you all, and you agree with it, give us some thumbs up, give us some hallelujahs, give us some hey, and then, like I said, questions, any questions you want the panelists to answer, please leave them in the comment section. Please please share, please comment. All right, y'all. So we have wonderful speakers on today, and I'm telling you, these are my brothers and sisters in Christ, and I am excited for us today. I'm excited about the conversation, you all. For real, no lie, okay? I am excited about the conversation because it's gonna be raw, uncut, like we really having this talk, y'all. And I mean, we need to have it, right? Like we need to talk about, like, man, how did we get here, and then how do we move forward? Because you know what? 2021 is ahead, but as you know, we have some civil unrest going on. Our country is taking on a new president. That's wonderful, but everybody's not happy about it. And we still dealing with COVID-19. So like we need to use these tools that we're gonna learn today into 2021 for real, So I wanted to definitely have this conversation so we can get those tools, y'all, and we can make it, okay? So our next, our panelists that are here, I'm gonna allow them just, speak one by one and introduce themselves, and we're going to get into this conversation. All right, y'all.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Ness.
Hey.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Taylor. I am, I am the founder and CEO, executive director of a nonprofit called 1C13 Productions. I am also an author and a mentor and a motivational speaker. I consider myself a child advocate, and I am most certainly pro-Black, and I love Jesus. I like to think that I meet at the intersection of social justice and biblical principles. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. And I'm really excited to talk with everyone else today.
All right, now let's go on to our next speaker. Thank you, Jasmine.
Hey, what's up, fam? Hey. Willem Leaks here. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? I am the founder, CEO of Poets in the Mirror, where reflection matters. And as Jasmine, I am an author myself. I'm a poet. I love people, man. It's something about people that just has my heart. And so I'm very thankful and grateful to be here to be able to speak to you guys concerning what's going on in 2020. Also about the importance of the mirror. What I learned in 2020, before we move on, that our reflection matters, and for order for it to be impactful, we have to love ourselves. I look in the mirror. So that's me, y'all.
Thank you so much, Willem. All right, for our next speaker. All right. I'm telling you, we already excited. We super excited. It's gonna be an awesome conversation. Excited, for real. We got stuff to talk about.
Mirror of love, that's what I'm talking about.
For everybody, y'all may hear of some construction going on around me. When the weather is nice, that's when you got to get the work done. So folks is, working on the grooves. But I tell you, that's a message in itself. I ain't gonna preach it. It's a message in itself. The good times is not the time for you to be resting. The good times is the time that you should be repairing and securing any weak spots. That when the hard times come, that you are prepared. But I ain't gonna preach
That's
that.
it, Ness.
Yes.
That's it, Ness.
I'm telling you. So I ain't mad they doing the construction because the rain ain't fell yet. The winter ain't hit hard yet because they try to prepare for the rainy season, okay?
Yep.
Right.
I ain't mad.
Oh, it's on me. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
everybody.
Hey, sis.
Hey.
Hey, Monica.
Wow, I'm just honored, glad to be here. My name is Nicole Thomas. I am the founder and executive director of Providence Institute and Resource Center, a nonprofit organization. I'm a personal growth enthusiast, a speaker, and also a real estate agent. Now that list can go on and on and on, but I'm gonna stop there for today's purposes. So I'm just glad to be here and be a part of the conversation with my family. Love you, Vanessa, with Willem and Jasmine, who I consider my son and daughter. And so I'm just excited about the conversation today because it's one that needs to be had. With so much going on in the world today, we're here. And as you said, Ness, we're surviving, but there's many people that's not getting through it as good as we are.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a conversation, like you said, even with the election and different things like that. It's just a lot going on. So glad to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yes. Got one more speaker. We loading up. All right, brother.
How we doing?
Oh, we doing great. Glad to have you.
It's glad to be here. My name is Darrell Smith. I am a author and founder of A Path, which is like a mentorship program for young people and adults alike. I am also a counselor, motivational speaker, and importantly, a teacher and a servant of the Word of God.
Yes.
And I'm excited about this conversation on today. I think it's something that needs to be had. I think it's happening at the perfect time as this year begins to wind down, and you know, a lot of important decisions are being made even now. I think it's important to just discuss, you know, as Vanessa said, how we got here and what we're doing moving forward. So I look forward to a great conversation with my brothers and sisters, and I hope that you all get something from this discussion on today.
Yes. I want to thank you all. Thank you all for being here. And I'm honored, I'm privileged to have you here for this great conversation. So let's get started, y'all. So the first question, we have the first question up on the screen, is what are some struggles that you've had during this 2020? So let's talk about it. It ain't always been peaches and cream, and I know we're all motivational speakers, and I'm telling you, I know it's been a struggle for us all. So what are some of those struggles?
I guess I'll go ahead and start. I would say just at the beginning of the year, just really dealing with just being hit with COVID. I think you know, we got the announcement and at the end of February, beginning of March, but a lot of people were dealing with symptoms and things of that nature earlier on in the year, not knowing what it was, thinking it's a common flu or you know some new bug that's out, and shelter in place, you know, mandate going into effect, social injustice that we just saw was rampant this year. I think it was exposed a lot more than before. You know, we were seeing police brutality and you know just acts of racism that led to violence or death happening back to back to back, and trying to process that all, trying to process COVID, a virus that hits the not only the country but the world, a virus that hits the world, and all the uncertainty behind it, not understanding how to cure it or who it affects, or how it's contracted, how you can pass it on, shelter in place, individuals losing their jobs, and businesses being shut down, and stock markets crashing, and it's just so much happening. And then on top of that, we're dealing with police brutality, and we're seeing all of these videos over and over again of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, and so many others that just hit the surface of social media and just continue to show us what we're dealing with in this country. I think it was a lot to process, and I look forward to unpacking it with this group, because I know there'll be some great tips and tools that'll come out of it.
Yes, that's so true. It's been a lot. It's been a lot, definitely this year. So, anybody else?
I think for me, 2020 didn't really. Haven't had any personal, I guess, effects with 2020 like everyone else has. I think 2020 has exacerbated conditions that I've already dealt with, and really forced me to look at myself and to look at some areas that I've been struggling with in a real serious way. Because for one, like Darrell said, we ain't had nothing but time to do it because we've been locked up in the house. So I think one of the biggest things for me that 2020 brought up and made me kind of take a look at is I realize now that I deal a lot with imposter syndrome. And I think in 2020, 2020 has actually put me in a position to take advantage of some of the effects of COVID, right? Because we are at home a lot, we have a lot more time to get things done. And a lot of the things that I've wanted to get done, I would say that I needed more time to do. And now that I have more time, I realize that the time wasn't really the issue for me. It was kind of a crutch that I was leaning on to. I was depending on the fact that I didn't have time to not do things that I know that I was supposed to do, And now that I have the time, I'm like, okay, it's not the time that's the issue. It's me and what is going on with me. So it's not that I am unable to do it. It's just the fact that mentally that there were some roadblocks that were stopping me from pursuing the things that I knew I needed to do and pursue the passions that I wanted to do. And even, so I just started school this semester, and even in class, like I would be in class and just be like, y'all, I do not belong here. All these people is smart. This is a school for smart people. I do not know why I am here, but I am here. And then the teachers would give me feedback. They're like, oh, that's great, Jasmine. I'm like, me, Jasmine? These Jasmine? What? And it's the end of the semester, and I'm still kind of struggling with that. But I believe, just like I said at the beginning, 2020 has definitely opened my eyes to see a lot of things that I wasn't able to see before 2020.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. Congratulations on you starting school, Miss Jasmine. And yes, you are smart. All right. Want to go to Miss Nicole? I'm putting you on blast now, sis.
All right. Yes, I've enjoyed what Jasmine and Darrell were saying, or I guess that's church. I've enjoyed it. I feel what they said was very poignant in this conversation, and so I'm just kind of gonna piggyback off of some of the things that they said. In that, I feel like the struggle, I don't feel I've had major struggles in 2020, but as Jasmine said, it shed some light on some things that personally I needed to work with, um, like discipline and consistency, even with the pandemic and us being sheltered in place, California being one of the states that immediately shut down where we all live. I know some I visited other states, they've not taken that stance at all on on COVID. So you have one thing was, I guess, being in prayer for other family members and things that even like now Texas is being hit really hard. A lot of my family is in Texas, and so it has definitely developed my prayer life a little bit more. I'm a praying person anyway, and so that's always been a part of my routine. But I've had to be more, I guess, intentional about the things that I'm seeing and praying about and taking them to God. And then, like I said, me myself, God was already showing me, like the lack of discipline in some areas of my life. Sometimes we say discipline and it doesn't mean I was like all over the place. I'm, normally a structured person, but there are some areas that he was working with me where I lacked discipline and consistency. And so many of you know that I started this workout plan or whatever, and as I was posting my story on Facebook and things of that nature. And so that was one way that he started to work with me with the discipline and consistency. And so yeah, it's, even though 2020, and then the other thing that I want to bring in is being a parent. So I guess that's been a part of the struggle with the shelter in place and having a son that started high school during the pandemic when school started back this year. So he's doing his ninth grade year virtually, and just trying to help him. I'm going to say that's been my greatest struggle, trying to help him and keep him focused and engaged in learning during the pandemic. That's been a thing. But otherwise, I mean, it's been a growth opportunity. It's just I've seen, instead of focusing on the negative, I've tried to focus on 2020 being the growth opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Brother Willem.
Yeah, 2020, man, it taught me a lot. But one of the main things 2020 taught me, especially during this COVID time, is the lack of accountability that I had over my own life. I realized that when the COVID hit, one thing I realized about that was I really lacked patience. This was something that I really lacked during the first 2 quarters of 2020. I was very impatient, and I realized that me being impatient literally made me not want to trust the person that I have in my life. So the first 2 quarters of 2020, literally, I was really like frustrated, and it really wasn't because of COVID, right? It was because I literally lacked accountability, like real. So for me, I feel like that was a struggle because I believe that when God has called you to do things great in this world, that you have to face a level of accountability that some not have to face, right? And so I had to understand that, okay, like I got to be this black polka dot on the white screen. You know what I mean? Like I have to be the one that stands out. And for me, it was a struggle because I know that I have to be impactful with my family, and that's not really a struggle, but it's a lesson of accountability. And so as 2020, the first 2 quarters of 2020, God showed me like you're not accountable, but here's why you're not accountable. You're not accountable because you're patient. Because what I learned is that patience brings us understanding. And if we're not patient, we will never get understanding. And so, as Jasmine stated earlier, COVID for me really, even though it was pandemic, it allowed me to spend time with God and spend time with my flaws and my insecurities, things that I have to really realize about reflection of me, so that I can understand that and I'll be more impactful coming in 2021. And so patience was really big, accountability, patience. And then another thing that was really a struggle for me was trusting the process that God has for me. I believe that sometimes when God
Okay.
That's all right.
I'm
Then.
sorry. It's like it was going back and forth. It was fighting me. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Look like we lost our brother Willem, but we understand what he was saying, and we will definitely get back to him as soon as he is able to come back on. So I want to share. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see he loaded on in, and I'm gonna share a little bit of like some struggles I had. How you doing, brother Willem? You back?
I'm back. I don't know. Someone kicked me out. I got kicked out.
Don't worry about it. Here we waiting on you, bro. Were you done, or did you want to finish up?
This is a tip. Like, I just learned that trusting the process is good for us all. Like, no matter what it may be, as long as we trust the process and we stick to it, then I believe everything's gonna work out. It's when we don't trust the process, then everything else will start to unfold in our life. So, trusting the process is huge for us. Well, that's what I learned. You know.
No, yeah, I definitely understand that. I had to do some processing myself, so I know, like me, you said, it gave us this whole time of like not having anything to do, like the world stopped. It gave, I think, a lot of time to reflect and kind of like really process, like, what am I doing? Where am I going? And basically, and also how is God leading, guiding me through all of this? So it has been something else. And then to have the civil unrest kind of happen during this time of COVID. And so it kind of shifted a lot of the energy, we saw a lot of negative energy shift because people weren't in their everyday life, which we're used to, like, hey, go, do your everyday life. And we see different videos or different things happen, and we stop and we give some attention to it. But then everybody kind of go back to their normal life, like, oh, I gotta go back to work, and oh, I gotta do this. And this time it was like people was like, no, let's stop everything. Everything is already stopped. So let's really give it some time and some energy. And so, with having we had way more, I think, protests. We had way more, people going out into the streets and really protesting injustice on a major level across the whole country and even across the world. Like, we saw protests happening in large quantities across the world, especially with the death of George Floyd. So, I mean, and it hasn't rested. It has not rested. I know a lot of times in California, we don't get to see all the continuing protests that are happening in other states, but it's still going on. It is still going on. And it is very much a part of, like, what weighs heavy, I know, on my heart. It's like, I can't stand it. I hate seeing my brothers and my sisters being killed on the streets, being killed in cold blood, being killed by people that's supposed to protect us, but that's definitely a conversation, you know what I'm saying? Because, I'm just tired of it personally. And so that weighed heavy on me a lot. And then, of course, dealing with COVID, and then a couple of the sisters said, dealing with COVID exacerbated issues and stuff that was coming up. I know for myself, and even having lost, us losing people who we know. The year would have normally given us some loss, some deaths, but I think it gave us more than we ever probably even thought of. And then having not to be able to mourn properly, we're not able to visit our loved ones. Like people aren't able to have funerals like they normally used to. So even that whole process of mourning or grieving, it hasn't even been the same. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you gotta just, you know, look at a program because they hauling off, you know, grandma to the cemetery like straight away. You know what I mean? It's just been so unreal this year. And so anyways, I want to just you know, move on, I guess, to the next question. Unless you guys have any more like insight into like some of the struggles. Otherwise, we can move on to the next things. I think that our next question is going to really help, like really home it into what have you guys been doing. So the next question is, what tools did you apply that helped you to navigate through 2020? So yeah, what tools did you use? And I know all of us talked about different subjects. So, you know, what tools did y'all use to kind of help you guys get through those tough times? And we can start with Brother Willem.
Okay. So one of the tools that I use, I started being more goal oriented. So just like, I guess, just putting what I need to put first in my life, not just being loose, not just doing what I want to do, but actually looking at my priorities and like, okay, what do I need to put first in order for me to get ahead? So that's one thing I started to do in the third quarter this year, which is kind of still where we're in. We're in the fourth quarter. But right now, just being more goal oriented. The second thing I did was I started to be open for correction. At times when sometimes we can flourish, sometimes we don't like being corrected. Well, at least that's me. I'm just gonna speak on my behalf. I know sometimes when I feel like I'm on a road, I do not like being corrected, and that's a pride thing. So God is helping me with my pride, y'all. He's He's knocking the pride down for me. But for me, I have to understand that it's okay to be corrected by the ones that you know that love you, right? If we're being corrected by a stranger, we're gonna be like, man, you don't even know me. But for somebody that really loves you and brings correction in your life, that really brings another level of prosperity in your life. The third one is trusting my vision. This year, honestly, literally, 2020 has taught me to trust the vision that God gave me. So if God said, Willem, you're a motivational speaker, I got to trust it. If God said, Willem, you're a poet, I got to trust it. If God said, Willem, you got to write 2 more books, I have to trust it. I have to trust the vision and what God is telling me to do. And so those are the 3 things that I literally start embedding in my life this year so that I can literally cross out the negative voices or the negative things that I see on TV or just the negativity that may be around me so that I can reach a level of prosperity that God wants me to reach. Because I do believe that it's not just about my life, it's about others, it's about other lives. So it's like when people watch me, they're not watching me, they're watching the God in me. And so I just don't want to be a diluted or inflated man. Like, you know what I mean? I want to do what God has for me to do. And so those are the 3 things that I literally start to embrace actually in my life, because if there's something, those 3 tools is something that I know I need in order for me to prosper. So being goal oriented, being open for correction, and then also trusting our vision. I believe that if we have those 3 things, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
I believe that, brother, too. I believe that. Those are some good points. I hope folks are taking notes. Those are some good points. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's go on. Jasmine.
I, like Willem, incorporated some of those same principles this year. I think for me, one of the biggest things that has helped me this year is time management and prioritization, because I'm a type of person who works off of a strict schedule. And if I don't have a schedule in my life, everything is going to go haywire. And so because of COVID and not being physically at work, kind of my life kind of just spiraled. And I was just like, oh, snap, it's 2:00 in the afternoon and I haven't done anything with my life yet. So I realized that once I put myself back on a very strict schedule, then I'm like, okay, now I can I can move and operate in a more effective way. And not only did that help me just physically, but it helped me mentally as well. Because I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, I would say maybe almost about 10 years ago. And I've noticed that when I have a schedule to stick to, it helps me way more with those conditions. And so that's something that I try to make sure that I practice regularly. Um, Again, like Willem, another thing that has really helped me this year is understanding that I am who God said I am, and it doesn't matter what anyone else has said or what I even say. Um, I had a really bad habit of rehearsing negative words that either I spoke or that I heard over the years. And whenever I would have a situation come up, those negative thoughts or those negative words would be triggered, and I would begin to repeat itself subconsciously over and over in my head. And I realized that that was stopping me and blocking me from doing a lot of the things that God had called me to do. Right. So, for instance, there was someone who used to hold a very important position in my life who had once told me that I was lazy and that my procrastination would be the reason that I wouldn't amount to anything. And so when I felt myself in these moments of COVID just being kind of just restful and not doing anything, those words would be rehearsed in my head like, okay, you're not doing enough, you're not enough, and you're not going to be enough because you're not doing anything right now. And I had to realize that that's not the truth of my situation. That's not the truth of who I am. And I don't have to accept that for being my life. And I think in tying into that, the use of my voice has been extremely important this year. Um, One thing that I've noticed just in my life is that the devil tries to attack the things that are divinely connected to your purpose. And one thing that has happened my entire life is just that people have been trying to snatch my voice. I would say like probably since I was little, and somehow, some way begin to siphon off little bit by little bit. But this year I have really started to try to embrace the power of my voice again, in many different forms. But using those three things, I think, has really changed the trajectory of not only just 2020, but my life in general. Just allowing those there's really simple concepts, and I think that there are concepts that we hear over our lifetimes and that we take for granted. You know, like I remember being a kid and hearing people tell me that your voice is important, but you don't realize how much value that it has until you've gotten it taken away. Or people telling you that you need to put your stuff in order and be more organized. And you don't realize how important that is until you've spiraled out of control and you don't have any order left to your life, you know? So I think maintaining those things and getting really having the ability to just get back to self and kind of condense those things into my life have really, really helped this year.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. It is powerful, Jazz. That is wonderful. So let's go to the next speaker. Let's go to Brother Darrell.
How's it going? I would say for me, some tips that I used. I think at the beginning of this, I just told myself that going back to the basics is going to be key this year. When we got um, the news about COVID, and then we began to see how serious it was and how it was affecting not only the U.S. but the world. How the elderly were dying. I work in the SIP sites, the shelter in place sites with the homeless. So I was experiencing a lot of loss weekly. We were losing one of the clients or one of the guests. So I was really seeing the effects of COVID and what it can do if taken for granted. So I think just step one for me was just getting back to the basics, and that was checking in on family, understanding that time is the most precious commodity that we have. Really, I have a lot of, I have a grandmother who I love dearly. You know, two grandmothers, my father, like, some elderly people in the family. So just making sure that I was checking in on them, making sure that they were being safe. I just had a newborn son, so making sure that he was protected, going to the grocery store for my grandmother so that she didn't have to go out, making sure that things were clean, finding ways to connect with family. Um, just really getting back to the basics of, focusing on the needs and not the wants, and making sure that um, we put value on things that sometimes we may just forget about when we're just focused on our everyday schedule, and trying to be progressive in life and striving after our goals. Sometimes we forget those small things. So I really wanted to get back to that. So that was step one for me. And then step two was just being open to change and adaptation, because with things being so uncertain this year, um, a lot of people had to make adjustments, whether it's figuring out how to, come up with finances, or replace their jobs. A lot of places shut down, or working from home, or your kids doing distant learning, of where you're used to your kids being out 8 hours out the day while you're at work, but now you're trying to balance job and also be there for your children while they're on their Zoom classes, and um, being open to figuring out different ways to travel and to get money. And there was lockdowns that went into place this year, where we had curfews. You had to be in the house by a certain time. So really just being open was step two for me. Just being open to change. A lot of things happened this year that will never go back the same, right? With social injustice or police brutality, getting out and marching, just a lot of things that I just had to tell myself, like, okay, this year we're gonna have to be open to change, probably more so than we ever have, and we're gonna have to really put a focus and attention on that. And then I think the third thing for me was it was getting back to the basics, being open to change, and then really embracing my feelings. Like, we experienced a lot. We experienced a lot of loss. We seen a lot via social media. Um, we saw a lot from our government, from our leaders. A lot of things that we felt like were not productive for society. So I really just embrace everything I felt. If I felt like I was angry about something, like, I embraced that. If I was hurt by something, I embraced it. If I felt like I wanted to do something to bring about change, like, I embraced it. I embraced everything I felt. I didn't try to complicate my feelings this year. Like, I really just wanted to be able to be in the moment, feel it, understand it, and do something about it, process it, and do something about it. And I think the things that we experienced this year, we'll be processing for a while. We're not going to quite understand the impact that this year had on us within the next year, within the next 6 months. It's going to take some time, because, like I said, a lot of adjustments were made this year. Like, for work, for how we deal with our children at home, how we deal with our spouses, the loved ones that we lost, the amount of people we lost alone in this country this year, the death toll, just a lot of change has happened this year. So we're really going to have to it's going to take some time in order to process this. But I told myself that this year, along with getting back to the basics, along with being open to change, I just really wanted to embrace everything that I felt. And if I can do that, and then I'll be able to process this year and develop an understanding of what it's going to take in order for us to move forward.
Can't hear you, Ness.
You muted, Ness.
I'm sorry, y'all, the technical difficulties, but that was so powerful, Darrell. That was awesome. I'm telling you, we all trying to process feelings, and that to even say that and us to be as a people to really understand that that's what we have to do, really sit and process these feelings. Like that's big all in itself. And Nicole.
Okay, yeah, I agree. That's huge, and especially for a Black man, young Black man during this time to recognize that you need to process feelings. That's really huge. So, thanks for putting that out there, Darrell. For me, I guess it's been a plethora of things, but it really, as I said before, focusing in on myself without being selfish. And so a big part of my life is church, is the ministry, helping people, things like that, even helping, just in the community, helping people. And so I spent a lot of time focusing on other people a lot of times and not spending the time that I need to heal or to process things, as was said. So I felt like the Lord, God was already preparing me by certain things that had happened in life prior to when COVID hit, the civil unrest hit, and things like that. So I was in a better space, or already moving towards preparation for some of that. So, like I said, I started exercising. So that happened like in January, but it wasn't just exercising. It was like a whole mental thing. So when we heard that the pandemic, that COVID had come, and it's hitting African American community, because we're prone to certain health issues and certain things like that. I felt that I had already began that preparation by not just exercising, but changing some of the ways that I was eating, taking certain supplements, just being aware of nutritionally and trying to take care of my body in a different way. There I was doing certain natural things that you find in your cabinet, like cinnamon and honey and ginger and different things like this that have natural properties to help to cleanse your body and things like that. So I was already doing that. So focusing on the physical aspect of my body, I think that has helped a lot with me surviving the pandemic portion of this. It also sends endorphins to the brain, to your mental state, right? So if you're active, then you're clear. So then I joined this program where I was walking, and I don't like to walk on a treadmill. I like to walk outside. So I would be walking, and I'm an introverted person, so it's times that I'm walking, it's just me, and I'm using that time to talk to God, and I'm looking at nature, and I'm seeing. And so I began to focus on the beauty of things, even though I'm walking with a mask, and I may get people looking at me crazy, and I can't, or I may take it down sometimes because I can't breathe through that thing, right? Because I'm walking, but then I have to prepare because I see somebody coming up ahead, so let me put my mask back on and then try to breathe at the same time. But through that whole process, I was able to focus on the beauty of nature and God. And so, like Jasmine said, I had prior till known that I suffer sometimes with anxiety, depressive type thoughts or whatever. Ultimately, I was diagnosed with compounded grief. but that shows up sometimes as depression, anxiety, or symptoms of that. And so I felt like, I know it's important for me to stay focused, keep my goals, like she said, keep your goals ahead of you. And I'm a purpose driven person. So I had to start focusing on me. Like what is my purpose in this season? What is God doing? What is he saying? I'm a new entrepreneur. Well, I've been an entrepreneur, but I really honed in on that this year. And I had to open myself. It's not easy, that like it's not easy for me to promote myself, to say, hey, you need me in your life. I'm an asset to you. I'm this great person. So, because I was taught that just sounds like you being arrogant and egotistical and things like that. So, it's hard. So instead of letting those other thoughts come in of, yeah, you're not that great, Nicole, yeah, there's 50 million people doing the same thing you're doing. It's um, focusing on, staying positive, and keeping that physical part of me, and keeping the mental clarity by walking and things like that has been very, very helpful to me during this season. And then, although we were sheltered in place, and a lot of people, if you're extroverted, I know that was very, very hard for you. I'm an introverted person, so I just found so much peace and, time to do things that I, didn't have time to do, like, and then it allowed me to cut off some people that that I'd have to say, no, I ain't gonna be able to make it, or why you ain't been over here in a while? Well, we shut down. It's the pandemic. We can't be interacting like that. So, it gave me a really a good chance to hone in, and in that gave me intentionality. It's like, okay, I know I don't want to be around these people. And then it was like, well, then who do you want to be around? Who do we? It made me realize that we have to have people that are around us, that are keeping us going in a forward direction, right? You want people around you that are constantly pulling you back. If you're fighting anxiety and depression, why do you want to be around people that pull that out of you, right? Why do you want to be around people that that are not being positive, or people that you constantly have to pour into, but they're not pouring back into you? And so it made me think about that whole thing. And so now I am more, I just became more intentional about, who am I around? My exercise class went, it went virtual. So a lot of my contact has been virtual and not in person. But like I said, that's been working for me, because I got to connect with some people. Like, I didn't have to, everybody's doing stuff online. So I didn't have to go up and say, oh, I'd like to meet you. Can I come hang out with you or whatever? I could just tune into their Facebook Live, or I could just tune into their Zoom, or I could just, and now I get to hear and interact with people that are positive and moving in a great direction, and helping me. So yeah, those, I would say, those are the tools that I learned: being connected to positive people, letting go of those that were not, um, taking care of my physical being, and moving in purpose.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, all the panelists. Thank you so much. I hope the folks that are listening are taking notes, because y'all dropping nothing but golden nuggets. Matter of fact, they platinum nuggets, okay? That's going to take us not only through the rest of 2020, I'm telling you, it's going to take us through 2021, okay? Because we definitely got some more things to deal with. And so I know personally for me, I had a lot of different struggles that happened for me for 2020. I got in a car accident, lost my car. My grandmother passed away. And just different ones, loved ones, friends. I lost some friends, not in passing away, but just in that, like Nicole was saying, just, you kind of weaning through people that aren't necessarily, on your team, and, kind of realizing that, yeah, this 2020 has definitely been a reflective year. I know for myself. And so what I did was definitely number one is prayer. I'm telling you, that prayer was like holding me together. But also staying connected to therapy. I know a lot of people are not pro therapy. I am. But so me having that connection with my therapist, like I was like, okay, normally I was going to see her like once or twice a month, honey. We amped that up, especially when we started going to like doing it virtually through Zoom. We was at least once a week. I was like, yes, I need you to help keep me together. And I don't think we kind of like really acknowledge that a lot. Like I know that I speak to other people. I know I motivate and I encourage other people, but sometimes we need somebody to help us kind of sort through our stuff, and I know I'm in a helping profession as a social worker. So I'm often giving out of myself, just boom, 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 helping people, giving and talking to people through and figuring it out for them in their life. But oftentimes we as leaders, we as motivational speakers, we as people who help other people, we the strong friend, we the strong family member, whoever you are, you need somebody too to help you process your stuff. You cannot go on and think, I'm just going to keep piling it on, and you're not going to go through. And one day that pile is going to break your back and it's going to send you down. So I always tell people therapy. It works for me. Okay. It works for me. If I can't say it works for nobody else, it works for me. Vanessa Jackson. Okay. And so that was something that I did increase during this time. I did increase. And like I said, and then also staying accountable. I heard somebody talk about accountability. I made myself accountable to goals. I wrote them down on paper. I said, okay, Vanessa, these are the things that you want to do. Like, write it down, So I definitely did those type of things, and definitely did some of those things that you guys talked about today. Like I said, you guys are just like really dropping some golden nuggets on today, and I hope folks are taking notes. And so we're going to wrap up this little our conversation with another question. In the meantime, I hope that we're getting some questions from the audience. You guys begin to drop any questions that you want us, the panelists, to talk about right now. We're going to answer this last question. And so it's question number 3, and it's, what are some positive takeaways from 2020? I know we've had struggles. I know we've had downs, and we've lost some people. We've cried a lot. We've had some emotional turmoils, but what are some positive takeaways? Like I heard some of you say, focusing and holding accountability. So what are some other positive, or what are some good things that happened to you or you and your family during this time? Brother Darrell?
Yes. Ironically, there are some great things that came out of 2020. I think the fact that we were sheltered in place, it kind of forced people to get outside and enjoy some outdoor activities. So I've had a bike for a while, but this year I think I utilized my bike a lot more than I have in the past few years. And there was an abundance of people that was just out on all the bike trails. You saw families out at the parks, doing recreational sports, or the way that fitness centers shifted and they had their classes outside. Like, I think 2020 really forced everyone to just get out and enjoy the outdoors. Families getting together, finding ways to make contact. We saw birthdays where people are driving by in their cars and they're hunking and they're finding ways to show up for the individuals that they care about. And I think that that's huge because sometimes it gets overlooked, right? So when you're put in a situation where you're forced to do some of those things that we take for granted, like sometimes we take the outdoors for granted. We have our laptops, we have our phones, we have our, huge 50-inch flat screen televisions, we have the movie theaters, we have all of these great things that we enjoy indoors. Sometimes we forget about, the luxury of living in California and being able to go outdoors and enjoy some of the great things that are here, like the beach and some of the hiking trails. And so that was a great take in 2020. Also, as I said, I was open. Like, one of my tips for this year was just being open to change, finding new ways to make revenue. I've seen so many people um, utilize their entrepreneurship skills or creativity in 2020. Like, so many people are just opening businesses or finding ways to be creative, whether they're selling stuff or they're starting podcasts or they're creating like natural bath bombs or whatever the case may be, selling masks or creating t-shirts. Whatever the case is, us as human beings, we found a way to be adaptive to the situation. We found a way to continue to push ourselves. We found a way to use our creativity, even in the midst of this pandemic and even in the midst of, social unrest in this country. We found a way to be creative and continue to push ourselves. So that was great, seeing all of that on social media, seeing, all of the new businesses that were started, the talk about LLCs and people jumping into the stock market. Like, it's been amazing. So that was great as well. And really just, again, getting back to the basics, getting back to family, getting back to we talked about church, like not being able to go inside of the four doors and just have worship service as usual. Pastors finding ways to continue to reach the masses, whether it's Facebook Live or Zoom meetings or whatever the case may be. I think 2020 is about perseverance. We found a way to come together as a people, as a humanity, and to continue to push ourselves to do better, to want better, and to strive for more. Even the with all of the police brutality and the social unrest, the where we are in conversation concerning those matters today in this country, I think we're a lot further than we've ever been. The conversation is on the table, and it's not on the table as in past where um, we're doing it because we want them to stop protesting, or we're doing it because we want them to stop marching. And nothing against the social activists of the past. They did a great job getting us to where we are today, but I think we learned from what they did, and now we're taking steps to where we're not just accepting a conversation. Like, we want change, we're demanding change, we're recognizing the strength we have in our vote, we recognizing the strength we have when we come together. And we know that if we can put our differences aside and we can fight for the things that we believe is right for humanity. And it's not just about race, it's not just about racism, it's not just about social unrest, it's not just about the wealth gap in this country, it's about doing what's right for humanity. And I believe in 2020 we have really begun to address these things. And with the conversation that's on the table now, we're really looking to hold our leaders accountable. We're no longer just allowing people to be in leadership roles and not utilize the tools given to them in those roles for the people. Like, if you want to be a leader in any type of capacity, you have to utilize the tools given to you in order to help serve the people that you serve, right? Whether you're a pastor, whether you're a president of the United States, whether you're in the Senate, whether you're in Congress, whether you're the coach at the EOYDC. If you are in a place of leadership, if you're in a position of leadership, you now have to utilize your place of leadership and the tools given to you in order to push humanity and the people that you serve forward. And I believe that we'll continue to hold all leaders, all people, all influencer, all people of power, hold them accountable. And if we are ourselves, call ourselves motivational speakers, authors, mentors, counselors, like us in our leadership positions, we also have to hold ourselves accountable. And we have to understand that we cannot go back from here. The only way from 2020 is forward. And forward doesn't have to be from where we were in 2019. It's readjusting to where we are today, recognizing the problems, recognizing the issues, recognizing where we went wrong and how to correct it and move forward from there. We're going to move forward from our understanding of what needs to be changed, what needs to be corrected, and we're going to move forward from there. So I think 2020, outside of the loss and outside of, with whether it was a loss of life or a loss of a job, loss of a loved one, loss of a home, of a car, possessions, whatever the case may be, I believe that our evaluation of where we are as a people, as a humanity, as a country, we've been enlightened about the situations that's going on. And I believe that from here, we're all going to make not all, but the majority of us will make a collective decision to move things forward in the right direction. So I believe we can all take that from 2020. And again, we'll be processing this year for a long period of time. But I believe we'll make the right steps to move forward.
Amen, amen. I believe the same thing. I'm with you, brother. I was like, just it's us even having these conversations and them being on the table. As long as they've been on the table, like everybody's talking about it. Everybody's trying to find solutions. It's 2020 has definitely changed the scope of how we view the world, how we view civil unrest, how we view racism, how we view just even like you were saying, like us coming together, people supporting one another, people showing up on a video screen, people showing up honking their horn outside the car, waving, all of that shows. And I think it's a really positive takeaway. I think it's really positive. Okay, let's go on to Miss Jasmine.
I think for me, the biggest takeaway this year, and I don't mean to get churchy or preachy, but y'all know me, I love Jesus. The biggest takeaway for me this year is that God is still faithful and the promises of God are still yes and amen.
Yes.
For me, 2020 has by far not been the worst year of my life at all. I would say a couple years ago, 3 years ago to be exact, the Lord had told me that 27 would be my takeoff year. And I was so excited because I'm like, oh yeah, the promises of God. But I'm like, wait, I'm about to turn 26. So what are you saying about 26? And 26 was honestly the worst year of my life. I think I lost my job. I had my identity stolen. My car broke down. I got really sick. I lost about 40 pounds in about 2 months. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was in a really, really detrimental situation where I was literally contemplating suicide almost every single day. And just to look back on then and see to where God has brought me now in the midst of a pandemic, You know, like in the midst of a pandemic, I've had all of my needs taken care of. I haven't wanted for anything like I did back then. Even if money was funny and change was strange, God still provided a way for me through every single thing. And I didn't have to deal with the physical disabilities that I had in the past. I didn't have to deal with the mental ailments that I had in the past, because God, I already knew if God had taken me through this, 2020 ain't nothing. God already delivered me through so much.
Yes.
Right here, it's I already know that he's possible. I already know that he's able, and I already know that he's capable. So yes, this is hard, and yes, this is challenging, but I already know that God didn't send Jesus to die for me to be mediocre. So even in this situation right now, I have to choose excellence. I can't choose to wallow in the misery that 2020 has thrown at us. You know, I like prior to so I work at a school, and in about the mid March, we had got sent home from school. But prior to then, I wasn't getting paid. So getting sent home wasn't nothing for me. But once I got home, God started paying me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in the midst with everything looking like it was crumbling down and everything was falling apart, God provided so much. Like, I'm getting married in a couple weeks, and the Lord has blessed just tremendously in that process. Like, I've been stressed out, but the things that I've been stressed out, he has sent people to just be a blessing to me in the meantime, in between time. You know what I'm saying? God has just been providing. He's just so faithful. And I just want to encourage anybody that's listening that, yeah, 2020 sucked. Let's be real, 2020 sucked. And I'm not one of them people who like to push toxic positivity. I'm a positive person by nature, but I'm a realist. Like, 2020 has sucked. But God is still God, and he's still in the blessing business, and he's still true to his word. And whatever God has told you, it's still going to come to pass. And just like Willem said, you just have to do the work. Do what God told you to do, and God is going to figure out the rest. So I just want to encourage y'all today. I promise I didn't mean to get all churchy and get all preachy, but I really want to encourage the people that 2020 is not a death sentence. 2020 does not mean that everything is over. 2020, we've talked about in the beginning of 2020 that 2020 was the year of vision. God has given us clear vision in so many areas this year. He has opened our eyes, like Darrell said, in places of police brutality and racism and systemic injustice that honestly is the foundation of this country, and we were oblivious to before this year. God has provided, and he has done so much that he promised he did, but it just doesn't look the way that we wanted it to look. So we got to acknowledge God for being God, and thank him for the blessings that he has given us, and the things that he is still doing, and the things that are to come.
Woo, thank you, Jazz, for that awesome, powerful word. I tell you, you're right. I told Robert Times that 2020 is still the year of vision.
Yes.
Honey, like I said, 2020 vision is perfect vision. Yeah, he had to uncover stuff. People didn't know that they had stuff covering their eyes. So let's get there. Folks didn't know that they had blinders on, okay? They wasn't seeing 5 and 5'10", okay? So 2020 was beyond them. And I'm one of them. When I say everybody, I mean myself first. You know, we had blinders on. We thought, oh yeah, we're going this direction, or yeah, we're doing that. No, you're right. God was like, wait a minute, let's clean this up. Let me clean the eyes. Let me remove the veils on your eyes and let you see clearly what's going on, you know, before you and different areas of my life. So I'm with you, Jazz, on that. Thank you so much for those powerful words. Brother Willem, how you doing, brother? Share with us.
Yeah. Michael. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Yeah, 2020. Positive takeaways I could take, well, positive takeaway. It's only one thing I could really take away from 2020 that taught me a lot in my life is stillness. Literally being still in God, and that refers to what I was speaking about earlier, about me being patient and through about me trusting the process. I found it to not, and this is me. I found it sometimes not to be easier to be still in God, just because of the desires that I may have as a human being. But what God told me is that if I trust God, He told me, if you trust me, then you will trust your vision. And if you trust your vision, you will trust your process. And so what I learned from 2020 was a major transition year for me. I literally, I believe I transitioned from January 2020 to November 2020. My life has transitioned to a great place. And as I spoke earlier, the first 2 quarters was really hard for me because I really didn't understand what God was doing for me. But it's not that I didn't understand, it's because I didn't want to trust the process. So now in my life, I can honestly say 2020, the positive thing I can take from 2020 is being still in God, because I have a lot of people around me that is God fearing, that is and has a ear to God, that's really intelligent when it comes to the word of God. But God was telling me, like, you don't always need people to confirm what I told you to do. So you have to really seek me to literally find out what you need to do. Not just in the season of your life, but even after the season. Even when 2020 is over, what are you going to do in 2021? Are you going to depend on what man got to say, or are you going to depend on what I'm going to say for your life? And I believe that stillness is the essence of prosperity. I believe that 2020, even with the pandemic taught a lot of us, especially believers, the essence of stillness. Because I believe when we're still in God, we can hear God. And if we can hear God, we're going to do what He wants to do. And so, honestly, for me, stillness is a great positive outlook I got from 2020. And I'm very grateful, because this time about last year, 2019, I wasn't in this position. And I know that God has to literally bring a transition in my life in order for me to see the things that He wants to do for my life, because this is a God thing. And I truly believe that when I understood that, I was like, all right, God, you with me? And that's what God told me. For the past 2 months, God was telling me, like, Willem, I'm for you, and just let my people know I'm for them. But I do understand that we have to be accountable of being still in God. Like, we have to have that accountability of being still in God. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I can't depend on nobody but God. You feel me, y'all? Like, not just me. I'm just speaking for me from my standpoint, but just in general. Like I feel like we as a people, when God is leading us to, as believers, He's calling us to be still in Him, because everybody has a purpose, and literally our purpose is not just for us. Like, we literally is about to rock this world. You feel what I'm saying? I believe that the believers that really are coherent to what they're doing in their purpose, I truly believe that we're about to rock this world, and it's all for the glory of God. And so I'm thankful for 2020, because 2020 showed me my insecurities. It showed me my flaws. It really showed me how prideful I can be. It really showed me how I may think I know it all, when really I know nothing. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm just a rich man, without Christ. And so I believe that if we all be still in God and we all know what God wants for us, then we're going to be that example that God wants to be. Because I believe that everybody, we're a body. You feel what I'm saying? So everybody got their limbs to where they're gonna work out their calling to impact the world. And so then again, I'm thankful for this right now, because it's mirror love. You feel what I'm saying? I believe that our reflection matters. And so the more we allow God to help us in our reflection, the more we can be prosperous to others. And so for others, may I say. And so I'm just thankful. I'm thankful because I know that stillness, 2020 taught me, like, Willem, stillness is the key, son. Stillness is the key. So that's what I want to leave for everybody. I believe that everybody is literally has the opportunity to see what they need to see in 2020. I truly believe that. And so even though we got one more month in 2020, I do believe that a lot of us are coming out 2020 a bigger and greater person. And so that's what I want to say. Stillness. Yeah.
That stillness been something. That stillness got the world.
Yeah. Right.
I'm still shocked by it.
Right.
All right, Sister Nicole.
Amen. I'm just over here just taking all of this in. I'm excited, my daughter Jazz had me wanting to preach. I felt a tag team coming on. Come on. Yes. And Willem just came. Come on. Darrell is I'm just loving this. This is an awesome conversation. Just glad that we had the opportunity to have it. I mean, as I said, like I don't look at 2020 like it's been I know we've lost there's been a lot of loss and man, I'm getting choked up and things like that. But God has just been so good to me. He's just been so gracious. The word that God gave me going into 2020 was not the 2020 vision thing, but He's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we could ask or think. That's what he said to me. And as I've gone through 2020, I've just seen him make ways and I've seen him open doors. I've seen in 2019, I was basically homeless. And as we were coming into the year, the Lord gave me a brand new place to live in. I left my job in 2016 and started down a new path, and I've never gone hungry. But in 2019, I almost thought I was. I was like, Lord, I don't know. I'm out here in the wilderness, Jesus. This is like, my life looks nothing like what you promised me. Like, this is not the life that I'm supposed to be living. Like, what in the world is going on here? And 2020 came and I became a real estate agent. And I started this path of just learning more about me and what God wanted to do in this season. And so when I say this, I'm not being arrogant or self-full, but really what I've learned in 2020 is that Nicole Thomas is the bomb.com. She is she is awesome. She can do anything through Christ Jesus. She can do anything. She is like the epitome. She's a great wife. I mean, oh, thank you, Jesus. Hopefully that's prophetic going into the atmosphere. God, yes, I'm a great wife.
Go ahead and speak it. Go ahead and speak it.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Yes.
I believe you, Jesus. It's getting ready to happen. Yes, it's getting ready to happen.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I got that out. I'm a great mother.
Yes.
I'm a great friend. I'm just a great supporter of God's people. And so God just, I couldn't always, like I always knew that, but I came from this place of kind of always trying to see myself through other people's eyes. And God showed me that that is not a good thing. I wasn't so much of a people please, kind of it's on the borderline of people pleasing, but I would trip over myself to try to make other people to be comfortable around me or things like that, and it got to a place where I'm constantly questioning myself because of what I feel I see through other people. And I can say that in 2020, I got delivered that because I understood that I have the God in me to depend on. Like God, I trust God. I trust the God in me, right? God has invested certain things in me that he wants to see manifested in the earth realm. And if I keep trying to appease other people, that's God is not going to get the glory or be able to use me for those that he placed me specifically here to reach, because we all have, God placed us all here to reach certain people. And through the pandemic, through the social injustice, he showed me that we all have a sphere of influence. I don't care if it's 2 or 3 people that we directly have connection with. And so he showed me the need for mentorship and passing on of knowledge and being good stewards over what he has given us. There's a responsibility and an accountability in that. And if we don't do that, we're doing ourselves and God an injustice. We're not living up to our full potential. And so I just came to this place where it's like, a lot of stuff that it just doesn't matter when you're looking at life through the eyes of people dropping dead left and right around you, and you don't know if you're going to be one of those people or not at any moment. What's really important? What's really important in this time? Is it important trying to, well, I've never been that person, trying to kiss up to people or to prove to people that I deserve to be in a certain place or whatever. Like I said before, my issue was always like, with so many other options out there, like, what is it in Nicole? But God began to manifest and to show to me that what he's deposited in me is what needs to reach people. It's not that I am such a great person in myself as Nicole, but the God in me, the greatness that he stored in me, that I have a responsibility to make sure that reaches those that he needs to see that. And so my understanding of marketplace evangelism with the churches being closed, like I said, I'm a minister and very involved in church activity, but I begin to see where we're falling short as a church, and how we're waiting for people to come inside, but we ain't taking him on the outside. We don't even take him we don't even take him in our home. And I was talking to my daughter. I was like, there was a time where in church we believed, okay, if we get the little kids to like come to Sunday school and come to church, then they'll begin to draw their parents. But somewhere that stopped happening. Like the power and the effectiveness of the church began. And when I say church, I'm not talking about the institute that Jesus created, because he said, on this rock I build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about us, the people that are the church, the fallible humans, that sometimes we get caught up in our own vision and our own way of seeing things and leave God behind a little bit. And so now I'm realizing that we have to catch back up to what Christ is doing, what God is doing in the earth realm. And he gave us this time. Everybody was like, oh, got to get back to church. And I understand the fellowship and I understand the communion, because he told us to assemble ourselves together. But I've also been enjoying the prayer time and the release for God to truly pour in without the disruption of our programming and the disruption of the doing what we think we need to do in order to be pleasing to an organization or people or whatever, to get, I think Darrell said, going back to basics. And it's been a lot of that. I think God used this time. God is God. God is God. I said the other night, like, if he wanted to, he could have come through here and all of this would be gone. If that would serve a great purpose, but it would not, because we would not learn the lessons that he needs us to learn. We will not be able to see the things that he needs us to see, even in ourselves, even with racial injustice. I, as raising young Black men, I had to think a different way about how am I talking to them? What am I telling them and going out into the world? And as being raised in Texas in a Southern type atmosphere, and even going back there to visit, there are things that I understand that have not, like we in California, I think someone said it before, you know, we don't see a lot of the things because we have a liberal type of government and diversity and things of that nature. But anytime when you go back to southern states and things like that, that mentality has never really you know, it's always obvious to me that the inequality or the superiority of a certain race as to other people. And so there was a certain way we had to live, certain things that we just knew not to do or go, or places to go, or different things like that, because it would cause unwanted attention, and you didn't want that attention. So, you know, you don't go down to such by yourself, or, you know, just different things, little things you learn coming up in that type of community. So in the back of my mind, it was always there. But because of where we live, sometimes you don't you know, you don't have to deal with it so much. So I had to, once my son went to school this year, he went to school in Texas during the pandemic, and different things were happening. So I had to learn how to have a different type of conversation. But all in all, you know, that's basically 2020. What 2020 has been a pretty awesome year for me, you know, in certain ways.
No, I definitely echo a lot of what you were saying, sis. You know, it's really how you view it. It's a perspective and how you view, you know, what we were going through, you know, or what's happened. Because I can definitely say, like, my takeaway, like my positive takeaway from 2020 was I got a chance to slow down, like, for real. I'm normally a person, I rip, I run, I'm going up, I'm down, I'm sideways, I'm all around. And I literally got a chance to slow down. I got a chance to get some sleep because I wasn't getting up and going to work and doing my commute and everything else. But I got a chance to actually get some sleep. And I know that, like, a lot of people like probably like, well, get some sleep. But yeah, I had a chance to get some sleep. Okay. And then I had a chance to save some money. You know, that was a big way for me. I saved money. You know, not only just like gas and all of that, you know, commuting. So I had to do the commute and the traveling and all of that. But I, you know, like not having to like take your lunch or buying stuff out, you know, because if you're not out as much, you're just not spending as much money. Even my clothes, I'm normally a shopper. I like to shop year round. And I was like, I ain't going nowhere. Like, so it was like no reason to buy new clothes. I had new clothes that I hadn't worn the previous year. I was like, oh, let me just bust this out. It's new to everybody. But yeah, so I saved a ton of money. And so my credit score went up like almost 40 points, okay, during this. So for the heightened credit score, you know, because and then also they my student loans and all that was on hold. You know, the government put all the student loans on hold, and so you stay in good standing, you don't have to pay them, you know. And so I took that money and I just started putting it in all the other directions, other bills that I had, or credit cards and other stuff, and started paying stuff off left and right. So I definitely can say that was like one of the best takeaways, is me being able to save money and was able to improve my credit score. And so I am grateful to God for that. And so thank you guys for sharing y'all the ups, the downs. Thank you for this conversation. It's been wonderful. I don't know our media director. I don't see everybody's comments. So if you can pin any questions that anybody have, I didn't see any get pinned. But if you can pin any questions, that'll be greatly appreciated. Or if anybody else can see any, all doing to help break the cycle of poverty and helping the community create generational wealth, especially through these times of this COVID pandemic. Thanks for sharing. Oh, that's my girl, Sin, my coworker. Doing to help. What are you doing to help break the cycle of? And I'm sure I'm look. They getting pinned. You can re-pin that question. So definitely so it's what are you doing to help break the cycle of poverty, helping the community create generational wealth, especially through these times of the COVID pandemic? So I know myself, as a lot of us, we definitely are community advocates and work in the community in different ways. Not only do we go out and feed the community, but helping break the cycle of poverty, that's a big order. I'm gonna be honest. And so I think for myself, my own contribution is by spreading knowledge. Like I share with people about owning your own stuff, like starting your own businesses. I talked to quite a few people because they know that I have my own business. I've talked to quite a few people about starting your own business, especially utilizing your craft, utilizing your skill. Right now, people are on Instagram, on TikTok, or wherever these social media, and they are making money off just being themselves. And so a lot of people, I think, put a lot on, oh, I gotta be this super professional, or I gotta have, all this money. And it's like, no, just get on one of these platforms. People know, get on one of these social media platforms, do something that you're good at and that only you can bring your energy and your spin to it. And trust me, folks is gonna follow you, folks gonna listen, folks gonna watch that money roll in, because guess what? It's all about watches. It's all about people viewing you. And then that's when you get the advertisement saying, hey, can you advertise this while you're doing your thing? And that's where the money come and roll in. And it don't take a lot to do that. Just takes you getting out there and showing the world who you are. So I know I do that as well. And how do you create community, create generational wealth? But yeah, and just talking about it. So I speak to people about it. Like starting businesses is something that is just definitely can be passed down through generations. And so I know myself, that's what I do. I talk to people about it one-on-one, in groups, however. If anybody want to have me come and speak, or have any one of our panelists come and speak to your young people, to your coming up entrepreneurs, because we all own businesses. And so we are all available to come and speak to any group of people about entrepreneurship and generational wealth. Let's, utilize it. That's why we're here on this platform, so that people can know who we are, they know how to reach us, and we can get the word out. We can definitely get the word out. Anything else? Any other panelists want to jump in and say anything or share anything on that question? Okay. Go ahead.
So for me, I have a nonprofit called 1C13 Productions, and right now we before COVID we had our mentorship program in a couple of different schools in the Bay Area, and we were intending on expanding that branch of the nonprofit this year. But since COVID happened and resources are limited, we're only at one school this year. But what I would say is, as people who work in the community, we need the community support to do the work in the community. So for us, and let me say for me, but I know this probably goes for everyone else as well. In order to do the type of work that we do need the support of our community. For 1C13 Productions, if you want to support that and the work that we do, you can go to our website, and there are a bunch of different ways that you can support with as far as donating time, donating money, or donating resources, so that we can do the work for these young people and for the community members and for families that have been impacted by COVID.
Yes.
Quickly comment as well on the breaking the cycle of poverty and helping the community create generational wealth. Peace. Education is part when we're talking about generational wealth and breaking the cycle of poverty. You have to educate yourself on what wealth is and how the cycle works. And it's going to start with, you're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to dig into some books. I'm going to have to talk to people. Have to get outside of your everyday circle, and we're going to have to understand what to do with these businesses. How to support these businesses, how to make our dollars circulate in our communities, how to leverage businesses, how to build credit, how to leverage your credit, how to build a financial portfolio, understand the way the stock market works. All of these is going to be needed if we're to truly create, economical opportunity for people in our communities. So education is the first piece. All of what everyone said is great. The nonprofit and businesses and the way we structure things, but we have to support them, and then we have to make that dollar circulate within our community. If we just have businesses and then we're taking the dollars and we're putting them outside of, we're not breaking we're not breaking any cycles. We're just creating businesses. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what you do with the money you make. Wealth is built by creating assets and not liabilities. So I think focusing on that aspect of it will be the start to truly breaking the cycle of poverty and, building
I'll
generational.
give you off of what Darrell was just saying, because I agree with the, like he said, the educational piece. I think we should always be educating ourselves. Money management is another one of my passions, and I think if each person is learning, not just what to spend money on, but what how to get the most, do the most with our money so that we can create legacy. I think we get stuck as a people in our community with in the survival mind frame, for so long that we never get to the point of thriving. And I know that also comes through education and creating things like our own schools where we are teaching our children those types of principles where they can get it earlier. Because as you said at the beginning, that's a whole thing right there. Just because people have to be in the mind frame to receive what you're saying. And a lot of times because of the systemic oppression and systems that we as a community have instituted ourselves and our families and things, people's thinking, just their way or frame of thinking just isn't there yet. And so when we create these opportunities of repetition, of continuously putting out the importance of these things, and then I just believe in that sphere of reference. Even people that I know that have created investment groups themselves within the community. We think sometimes things take a lot of money, but if me, you, Darrell, Jasmine, and Willem get together with a common goal and say, hey, this is what we want to do, and then we begin, have a business plan or have a plan and begin to secure the funds to do the things that we want to do, then we begin to create wealth, and we begin to create a system of doing things. But we have to be willing to get out of ourselves and to begin to seek out these opportunities, even create them for ourselves, because a lot of times they're not there. And so I do support as much Black business as I can, especially with people that I know have like mindsets. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. What was our next question? I think we had another question. Media director is going to pin that question. I think we did. I think we had one more question. Well, if we don't, oh, we do? Okay. This has been such an awesome conversation. I again want to say thank you so much for each and every last one of y'all, I truly appreciate it. And so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'm thankful for everybody that's been listening in. Thank you for everybody, our friends, family, loved ones, co-workers. I really appreciate you guys. Like just listening in, tuning in. I hope you guys have been taking notes, because I tell you, has been nothing but golden nuggets being dropped on today. So we want to go ahead and close it out. And I want I want to go around and each speaker to go ahead and, let people know where they can reach you. What next events you guys are attending or got going on. What are your promotions? I know several of you are authors of books. So if you guys can shout out, where you guys, where they can find your book and what your websites are. So I'm just going to go around and let's start with Jasmine. And you guys go ahead and let the people know where they can find you.
Unmute.
Okay. Oh, hold on, Jasmine. We can't quite hear you.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we got you.
All right. So you can find me on social media at Jazz Speaks. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I think I got a TikTok. I don't really use that much, but I'm gonna try. You can also purchase my book. It is my first book. It is called Heart to Heart, Sister to Sister. It is available on my website, jazzspeaks.com. It is spelled the same way, JASSPEAKZZ.com. And also, please stay connected on social media. I have something really awesome planned to launch before the end of the year. So stay tuned for that.
Yay. All right, let's go. Let's move on. Brother Darrell.
Yes, I am. You can also follow me on social media, Facebook, Darrell Smith, Instagram, Darrell Smith _L. It looks like it's there on the screen. Also, I have 2 books. First book is A Path Through My Lenses, and second book is A Path Towards a Better You. You can find both of those books on my website at darrellsmithonline.com. That's again my first and last name, online.com. And there you will be able to purchase both books. And I update as far as any events or anything that I have coming up. That stuff is usually posted either on the website or on my social media platform. So catch up with me there.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, Willem.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I think I was having technical difficulties. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
He couldn't hear us.
Okay, yeah. So, Nicole, let's go to you and Brother Willem jump back in.
Yes. So, Nicole Thomas, right? Thank you, media director. My Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at Nikki_live_laugh_love. I'm on Facebook. You can, Nicole Thomas. I know there's a lot of Nicole Thomases, so, Facebook, Nicole Thomas, Oakland, I guess. And then, also, my nonprofit has a Facebook page, Providence Institute and Resource Center on Facebook, and on Instagram, it is Providence Institute Oakland. And I am going to be doing a a first-time home buyers workshop pretty soon based off of this book right here, Complete Guide to Buying a Home. So be looking for that flyer. I'll have it posted on Instagram and Facebook. If you know anyone that is interested in learning about the market, wants to get ready to buy a home, or even that is an investor, I'm your person. You come to me, and we can work we can talk and see where you are and what you're looking to do. And then I have a conference next weekend that is going to be airing Facebook Live from Providence Institute and Resource Center's Facebook page. It is the Hope for the Holidays conference. This will be our first virtual conference, but our fourth year of having the conference. And our theme this year is the Great Exchange. And we're going to have a few speakers that are going to come and talk to us just about the things that we've been talking about today. How do we get through the tough times of life? And so we have Jabari Cargile, that's a mental health professional. We have Natasha Sawyer, who is a entrepreneur and fitness coach, and Andre Amons is a fitness coach. And then we have Dr. Ineser Mathis, who is a therapist and founder of Defining Moments. And so if you want to hear some more information about just helping us to be a whole and operate in wholeness, then next Saturday, right here on Facebook at 10 a.m. is the Hope for the Holidays conference. And every Friday at 6 p.m., my daughter and I do an encouragement session, about 30 minutes, called Prayer, Praise, and Power. So tune in if you're just looking for a refresher at the end of the week. We always have prayer and words of encouragement, and just giving just a time of release and refreshing. I think that's all.
All right, thank you so much. And we got Brother Willem back on the line. Go ahead, Brother Willem.
Yes, forgive me, guys. I don't know what's wrong with my connection right now. My connection is hating on me right now. But listen, guys, you guys can find me on Facebook, Willem Leaks, or Instagram is W_Mr. Leaks. And like I said before, I am the CEO/founder of Poise in the Mirror, which stands for Powerful Overcomers Elevating Towards Salvation. I am a personal believer that our reflection matters. And so this year, God graced me to actually manifest something that I've been wanting to manifest for the past 8 years, which is my first poetry book, which is titled Garden of Words, Harvesting in the Winter. You guys can find this on my website, which is at www.poiseinthemirror.com. But I want to be a blessing to somebody. 3 people, the first 3 people who contact me on my Instagram, which is W_Mr. Leaks, I will be sending you guys out 3 free copies. So guys, tap in. I just want to let everybody know that we are all overcomers in the name of Jesus Christ.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Mr. Leaks. Look, let me hit your Instagram so I can get my copy, because I do. But I do need to get your. I need to get it anyway. But no, I'm gonna pay for it. I'm gonna pay for it. But thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. I hope everybody is really taking down the notes. We have authors here. We got motivational speakers here. Nicole do a little bit of everything, real estate agent. And definitely I have been to her Hope for the Holidays. That is at Providence Institute, Oakland. I think that's on IG, and Providence Institute Resource Center. And so Hope for the Holidays is an awesome event every year. It is just awesome. And it's just been getting greater and greater. And this year, I know they're doing it on virtually. So I still think it's going to be awesome. The only thing missing is the hot breakfast. You know, that's about it. Hey, but you know what, Nicole? I'm gonna come with my own breakfast, like in the virtual screen, like, ooh, y'all some good speakers. Anyway, so y'all come next Saturday. And so it'll be on Providence Institute Resource Center, and I don't know, Facebook page is gonna be live. So y'all come with your own breakfast and snacks, and come and listen to the awesome words of all the awesome speakers she has lined up for next Saturday. And so I just want to thank everybody, each and every last one of y'all. Like I said, it's my honor, privilege that you guys joined us today on this on the conversation. And I'm hoping and praying that people have just gotten what they need on today. And so, yes, if you want to bless Vanessa in Purpose, the our business, we are moving forward. Those who follow me know I am on Instagram, Vanessa in Purpose, TikTok, Vanessa in Purpose, Twitter, Vanessa in Purpose. I have my own YouTube channel, Vanessa in Purpose. So you can find me, and on Facebook, Vanessa in Purpose, right? So you can find me everywhere, okay? And I want to also just kind of give a shout out to those Succeed Firm. We all are part of Succeed Firm. Succeed Firm is a management and advertising management firm. And Succeed Firm is on Facebook and on Instagram. I would beg you to please follow, and please, like, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about entrepreneurship, please go and see our friend and our brother and the guy who keeps us all in our P's and Q's, Brother Deshaun Campbell, over at Succeed Firm. Succeed is SUCCEED Firm, FIRM. Thank you so much. Also, my next event, Mirror Love, The Pledge. All right, yes, it is going to be the day before Valentine's Day. That's February the 13th. And it's probably going to be around the same time. But please stay tuned to my social media, because I'll be coming out with a save the date. And so I'll have more information around that event. Also, I have merch, Vanessa in Purpose merch. It will be going on sale sometime next week. So please stay tuned. I got t-shirts and masks and a whole host of other goodies, and they will be on sale at the sale price for the holidays. So please stay tuned to Vanessa in Purpose, and DM me, DM any of us. Please get in contact with any one of the wonderful speakers that you heard on today. Please feel free to email us or reach out to us, DM us. We feel free to help each and every last person that reach out to us. Also, you can see my merch. You can see my updated events on my website at www.vanessainpurpose.com. All right. So I love you, each and every last one of y'all that came out today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's it. I love y'all. God bless y'all. Peace.